Hello and welcome to the Python Tkinter tutorial, part 4. Let's make some art. I've been putting off this video for a little bit because I planned on making things rotate, duplicate, and scale in this video, but I don't want to let this get a little boring because it would be another big block of just coding without showing much in the way of making some actual art. So I wanted to add some cool functionalities in here first to keep it interesting, and can add those fancy functions later. Right now what I want to do is just get this so that we can import a background image and then sort of trace over it, and then fill in our shapes and export it as a PNG. That way we can have transparency on it. We could use it as like frames of a sprite or something. Make some animations even. So that's my plan for this video. And to do that, we gotta make some imports first. One of the things we're gonna have to import from is the Python image library, which is not installed by default. You'll have to use pip to install that. And you see I've already done that here. And I already have it installed, so it's not showing me the download bar and everything, but just for demonstration purposes I'll show. You'll just have to put Python and then the M flag is to tell it that you're using a module. The module is going to be pip. Pip is bundled with Python. You should have that by default. If you've installed Python, you've got pip on there. And then we use the install command, and then the package name is pillow. So if you do that, it'll give you a little install bar if you don't already have it, and then you'll be good to go. So the imports we're gonna need file dialog. And what file dialog is going to do is it's going to allow us to go into the file explorer and pick out either what photo we want to, or what file we want to open, or where we want to save a file and what we want to save it as. And it's got two separate functions to do that. And then from our Python imaging library, which is just a abbreviated PIL there, we'll import a few things. Image is going to be the image objects that the Python imaging library uses. Image draw is sort of like a graphics object if you've used Java's abstract window toolkit. And then we will need image TK as well. So now that we have those, we will need to add a couple variables to our display class. And one of those is going to be to hold the image object itself for the background image. and one's going to be for the canvas object. That's going to be our ID representation of the image on the canvas. And to make it easier for exporting, we're going to want to start holding our width and our height in a variable as well. So we'll just set the width here when we initialize to the width we're passing in, and height to the height we're passing in these arguments here. And now that we have all of those, we're going to want to make a background image function for our display. I guess I could put that right here. We'll call it add background image, and we'll just have it take itself, because we're going to call this with a menu command. First thing that we need to do is get the file path that we want to open from, and to do that we're going to use file dialog's ask open file name function. And we will get a few options that we can choose from. I'll leave an option in there to pick any file type. Some might throw errors, but I will maybe filter out those options later when I find out which ones those are. And I will allow for filtering by PNGs, GIFs, and JPEGs also. And then this control block's only going to run if we opened a file name. Like if we hit cancel or something, this way we'll just skip over this entire block. Because in that case, file name would come back as none. But if we do have a file name, we will make a image object with image tk, and we'll give it the file path that we just got from the file dialog. And the background image is going to be the canvas object, and we're going to make that inside the assignment statement. We'll have it start up in the top left corner, which is 0, 0. and the image is going to be the image object that we just made, and we're going to anchor it to the top left corner. And then, because we want it to be a background image, if we've put shapes down already, we don't want to just plaster it over them. We're going to immediately use the lower function we're inheriting from Canvas to lower the background image down by passing in that ID that we just took. And then to get that working, we'll just have to go make our menu bar, which will just be like a little top menu, sort of like this. And we got to bind it to the root window, so we'll call a variable menu bar. And then our image menu is going to attach itself to the menu bar, because it's going to be a sub menu, like a little drop down box. Oh, I'm not going to do self because we're not going to make this a variable we're going to access. And then to make it a drop down, we're going to add cascade. We'll give it a label that says image, so it'll sort of like this says file here. The label will say image instead. And then the menu is this image menu that we just made. And then we just have to add some commands on there. So basically, like this is the drop down we just made, and then these would be like commands. So we go image menu dot add command, and we'll call the label for this one will be background image. You could call it something different, but it should describe what the function does. And then the command we'll give it is the add background image function that we just made. And then just to tell it we're done, setting up the menu bar, we'll configure it with the root window. Tell it that the menu bar is our created menu bar, and we should have some functionality here now. So let's try it. Image, background image. I can open up my adorable little pupper, and there we go. We got a pupper on the screen, and you can see I can plant some points over her. And that's pretty cool. So Next, what I want to do is make it so we can export our shapes out into a PNG image. So to do that, we'll want to make an export image command. And I'll put it right next to my add background image command. These two are a little bit similar. And then the file path we're going to get from another file dialog command. This one is ask save as file name. The directory we'll start looking in, we'll just start at the root here. We'll call the window select file. The file types will allow either to filter by PNG or all files. I'll put all files in there for later in case we want to do some more stuff or export as other file types, but for now I'm just gonna add functionality for PNGs. PNGs are, again, a good choice because they have transparency. That way you can use these as sprites or something. Which I'm thinking I might spin this off into like a C++ SDL tutorial and then use sprites from here to make some animations and some cool stuff on there. Let me know if who might be interested in that, because it sounds like a good idea to me. And then we'll make another image variable. And this is just going to be an image the size of our canvas. We'll make it RGBA, which is red, green, blue, alpha. And it takes the dimensions of the image and is a tuple. So we'll use the display's width and height variables that we just added. And then we'll set it to 0 on the alpha channel, or not the alpha channel, well, yeah, the alpha channel also, but the red channel, the blue channel, the green channel, and then the alpha channel. And then we'll make the draw object, which is like the graphics object if you've used the abstract window toolkit in Java. It's basically like a paintbrush. And then we'll loop through all the shapes in our shapes list, or our shapes dictionary. And then we will need to make a new list where we make all of the points, we convert them to tuples, because that's the format that the draw object needs. And then we'll just extend the list by adding this in another list where we cast the point in our points to a tuple, and then that way we have a whole list of tuple points now, and we pass that into the draw object to basically paint a polygon with the exact same points as our shape, and also the color, which for the color we will need, and I'll put this in the description because typing this out would just be pointless, I feel like. This is basically just a dictionary where I've taken all of the name colors here, and I looked up what the corresponding RGB values for them are. So I'll put this in the description so you can just copy and paste this also if you're following along. But I'll stick that right above the display class here. And back to the export image function now. We'll use the draw object to draw a polygon onto our image. We're going to give it that list of tuple points, and the fill is going to be the RGB value we get after we run our shapes color through the color translator. And then finally, we will take advantage of our file name that we got and use our image's save function to save the image. As our file name, and then add a PNG extension on it, and then make the format PNG. And then we'll just need to do what we did before with the menu bar and add another command. We'll just say this is export, and the command will be our export image command, or export image method that we just made. Alright, and let's give that a shot. See if that I haven't made any typos. We have that. I want to export it, so I'll put this in pictures and call it red. We can check, and there it is. So now we got exporting, and with these functions combined together now, we can make an adorable little picture of my pupper. Let's just get we'll make that saddle brown there. Let's make this also saddle brown. And I'll give her some big adorable eyes. Give her some little pupils. And let's give these little sheens a little Navajo white, where she's shiny. Which one's sandy brown? Sandy brown is D. I want to get a little bit of that over here. And let's do, for the fur, I want to do lavender. Something like that. A whole bunch of black there. A little shine on her nose. Let's try make this a little weird. Alright. Let's try it. Let's see what this looks like at this point. And yeah. Oh. Interesting. I don't know why that's happening. Is that a glitch? That's bizarre. But yeah, this is what it should look like. And you can start to kind of see how you can make some pretty cool stuff with this. I don't want to make this too long, so I feel like 30 minutes is a good stopping point. We've got some good stuff done. Now that we've got that, um, every little thing that we can add, of course, next priority is making it so we can delete stuff in case we make a mistake. And then duplicating, scaling, rotating, all that stuff will be real cool. I want to stop and I'll have some pictures to trace over next time, some more. Because I think the making the art part of this is gonna. I feel like it's good to be testing the program throughout you're making it. Just making sure everything's always still working together, and really, I mean, if you're having fun using the program, other people probably have fun using it also. So, at least that's my mindset on it. I hope. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you stay tuned for more.